What's up, guys? Welcome back to our channel here on We the Dreamers, where we share inspiration for a well-designed life and home. Today I am excited to share with you the DIY process to make these cane closet doors. This is a bifold door makeover that we did in our little bungalow in our dining room. This makeover made a huge difference in the space, and I'm excited to show you how we did it. So for as long as I've been obsessed with interiors, which has been forever, I've always swooned over all things cane doors, caned furniture, the list goes on. I feel like it's shown up in so many different types of decor in the last few years, and it also just feels really consistent with the style of our house. You know, it's a California bungalow, so between the color and the texture, it lends to a space and its sort of subtle boho natural vibe. I've always wanted to DIY a project with cane mesh. This pantry door turned out to be the perfect candidate for a bifold louver door makeover. So outside of our two moderately sized bedroom closets, our house only has one other closet in it, like total, and it's this one. So it's pretty small, but because it's in the middle of the main space, like the dining room, kitchen, it acts as our pantry and has turned out to be a perfect storage spot for like the vacuum, brooms, and admittedly a bunch of random stuff that doesn't go anywhere else. It's often a big mess, and so I knew I wanted to DIY something fun for the pantry because it's visible pretty much everywhere in the main part of the house, and having no door on this closet was becoming a major eyesore for me. It was driving me nuts, so I couldn't wait to tackle this project. After consulting a few helpful blogs around the internet, I came up with a plan to make these, and it was honestly relatively easy. The most tedious part of the process for me was painting the doors, but if you don't mind employing a little patience between coats, it's a pretty straightforward process. I actually ended up painting my doors the same color as the IKEA built-in bookcases that I did in my studio, which I'll share a video DIY about very soon, and I loved having this color in another room. It's called Benjamin Moore Hidden Falls, and it's a great color. It's like almost a neutral because it's so dark, but it really brings a richness to a space that I feel like is harder to get with like a flat black. One thing to note here is that I didn't do this DIY completely in the right order, but I'm sharing this tutorial with the steps laid out in the order I wish I had done them. For example, I painted my door before removing the louver slats, and the paint job got really banged up in the process and I had to redo it. So just know that I'm sharing this DIY with you with the steps in the right order, even if you see my door already painted before that step comes along. Okay, so here's how we did it. The supplies that you'll need to tackle a similar project would be one 24-inch by 80-inch louver / panel interior closet bifold door, 3 wood screen molding pieces, which mine are 1/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch by 96 inches, and these cover the louver holes that will end up showing up after you take the louvers out of the doors. You'll need at least 48 inches of mesh caning. I put a link in the description to the exact mesh that I ordered from the exact website, and I actually ended up ordering 8 feet of it just in case I messed up, because this is my first time doing this project. You need a paint color of your choice. I used Benjamin Moore Hidden Falls satin finish. You'll need a knob for the door if you're changing it out, which I would recommend doing. The one mine came with was kind of ugly, so I'll link the one that I used in the description, some paintable caulk, and some wood filler. My pantry closet door opening didn't have a door frame yet either, so we ended up having to build one ourselves. I'll also link in the description the supplies that we used to build the door frame. The tools you'll need for this project: an electric sander and sandpaper, a drill, a circular saw or a jigsaw to cut and loosen the louvers, a nail gun, and a staple gun. So here are the instructions. Step 1 is to sand the bifold doors on all sides and edges with an electric sander. I probably didn't sand mine enough, and it made painting a lot more frustrating. So I would make sure to do a thorough job here, especially if you couldn't find a plain raw wood door, which I couldn't. Because I could only find a door that was already white and already had like some paint and a finish on it, I knew I wanted to paint it a dark color, and so it made this step really crucial. If you're also installing a door frame, now is the time to do that. So make sure you measure super carefully so you know exactly how much space you'll need for your bifold doors before creating your door frame. Step 2 is to install the door hanging hardware on your door frame and hang the unpainted door first to make sure it fits in this space. Mine was just a tad too tall for our door opening, and so we ended up having to shave a little over an inch off on the top with a saw. You don't want to get your door all finished and beautiful and painted and then realize too late that you have to saw off a piece of the top, because that is not going to look great. Step 3 is to remove the louvers / slats from your doors. So we just took a circular saw and made a cut down the middle of the louvers, and that made them pretty easy to just pull out. Step 4 is to cover the louver holes with your wood screen molding, nailing it in place with a nail gun. Once it's in place, be sure to sand the molding. Step 5 is to clean up any cracks between the screen molding and the door with paintable caulk, and cover any nail holes with wood filler. Step 6 is to paint all sides of your doors, paying particular attention to the side that will be facing out. My inside facing side ended up getting kind of banged up in the process, but it's truly fine because the closet is so small, nobody goes in it and no one sees it from the inside. I would emphasize here, be sure to wait at least 12 hours or however long the paint manufacturer recommends in between paint coats. Since these are bifold doors, I recommend painting the door faces of both sides first, then standing the doors upright in a garage or a large open space to paint the hinged sides, the tiny hinged parts that face each other when the door is closed. Step 7 is to cut your caning to size and staple it in place to the backs of the bifold doors with a staple gun. This is definitely much easier with 2 people, so you can pull the caning taut and keep it from getting too crooked, and it helps to have somebody kind of looking underneath it or on the other side to make sure that you like the way the cane is lined up when you're going to view it from the front. Step 8 is to reinstall your door in place on its hanging hardware and add your new doorknob, and you are good to go. The only thing I will say that I wasn't able to fully figure out with this DIY were the door hinges. At first, I naively tried painting them the same color as the door, but I quickly realized that the paint doesn't stick and it just makes them squeak and the paint peels off because I'm constantly opening and closing the door. So ideally, I would have loved to change them out for gold hardware. I'm still kind of on the hunt for the exact hardware that I would need for that, but weirdly, this size of hinge was super hard to find with all of the holes in the right places, so I have not been able to find a gold hinge in the right size just yet for this door. I will say though that it doesn't really bother me because you really only see them when the door is open, and the whole point of this DIY was to make a door that will stay closed 95% of the time anyways, because the pantry is a huge mess. Overall though, I am so happy with how it turned out, and strangely, it has somehow made this whole space feel so much bigger than it did before. I think it must be a case of the room actually looking finished now that there's a door in that space, but I also think that there's a really nice visual contrast element that this house is missing a little bit because it was kind of a blank canvas flip when we bought it, and so there wasn't a whole lot of contrast or form going on in the space, and this has really changed that and helped it visually feel a lot more interesting, and it's added a lot of depth to the room that I really love. Let me know in the comments if you've ever DIY'd a door, or if you have any tips for working with cane or DIYing doors, and let me know also what project that we should tackle next. I'm always excited to find my next DIY project for the house. So thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe for more DIY videos and lifestyle videos soon, and we'll see you in the next video.